This video contains subject matter that may be offensive and disturbing to some people. If you are the type to require a warning throughout a video or show, let this message serve as your warning. This channel discusses the harsh reality of true crime. If this warning is not sufficient for you, consider a different genre and unsubscribe from my channel immediately. What's going on, everybody? Had to go grab the mic from about a mile up in the air there. All right, we're doing round two, everybody. So we got to about 40% of a normal goal on the first show. So hopefully we can get somewhere on this one. Yeah. Well, I noticed you in there, Toy Airy, just not on my show is what I'm trying to tell you. I see you all over all the Dylan Round stuff, but just not here. So, hey, there you are tonight. Awesome. Good to see you. Let's see. Because after the show, I always check the madness out there. There it is. All right, so I think we'll do an update on Dylan Rounds. They had a court hearing today on Brenner, and Candace spoke outside after the hearing, and then there was a news report on it too, so that was pretty good. And I think where we were going, see, the first thing that ever came up that seemed legitimately related to anything was going to be Chase, or that was the first guy that was like, okay, wow, that's weird. Or when they put out these documents, the search warrants for Brenner. I mean, the stuff that's in those was very compelling. It seems like right now they're on the right track in trying to figure out, who the actual, where is Dylan and who the killer is. It seems really clear that they're onto the right thing. See what I'm saying? Right. Yeah, and so if you notice, when on this channel, after we read those warrants, it was just boom, here we are. It's not going to be anything like these meth labs and all the crazy wild stuff that people come up with out of nowhere merely because somebody says, oh, there's meth users in the town. Well, who knows anything about the reality of it? People live there, think we're offended by that. All right, spunky stuff. Cool. Very cool. All right. Very cool. Very cool. All right, so I'm going to switch over to... I put this one in Adobe Premiere. So what I did on the other one, I'm not going to play somebody else's YouTube video. But hey, thank you very much, Eugenie. All right, we're on our way. And LM helped me out to get a better, she said to do the book rate, and that does save $2 per envelope, which is pretty amazing. So I'm going to send her a notebook just for saving me money. I mean, I wish I had known about it before, because that would have made a big difference on the shipping. Seems like I got bit by like a bug or something. It looks like a bite. It doesn't heal very quick.
Chewbacca? Oh, I'll do Chewbacca if you want me to.
Yep, hope they find him too. Okay, let's watch this here. So I think we have interesting stuff tonight. Okay, so there's a few things. I talked to I've been emailing with Colleen Fitzpatrick, and she has, they're asking Addison County, they're in communications with how much it would cost to exhume, because we need more bone now. Then there's also, I think they're still getting updated on the cigarette butt one. And then also she sent me some links to, like NamUs and the Doe Network. And man, that's what a resource that is for me. I mean, geez. I mean, here's what we can do. We can find some on there and say, let's go do this one. Then we tell Colleen, and because she's really wants to get going on some more. So we could look on there, find something, and then have them go out and communicate, and then boom, see if we can, we can look at various cases. Like I could actually cover them. And it's a really interesting resource for, I think it's on the Doe Network. They don't just have missing people, which is, the name would suggest they're unidentified people, but I didn't word that right. They don't just have does. They have missing people and unidentified people. And it was interesting because they even had the Martin family in Oregon, the one that on Christmas drove out maybe to get a tree, and then their car went in the water. Then they found 2 bodies floating down the stream at some point. I guarantee it, they're in right there at in the bottom, wherever that was, that dam area that we were looking at. And there's just a million different stories in there to look up, and man, just wild stuff. So I'm looking forward to that. I don't think it was a slough. Yeah, it's a Columbia River there. Let's see. I mean, there's a slough in the Columbia. I think it was just right there by the dam. It was in the locks area up there. I've been there. So, anyways, I thought that was cool. And maybe we'll take a look at that at the end of the show if we have time. So here we go. I boosted up the audio a little bit on here. And so in this interview here, it's ABC4, and they're interviewing Candace outside after the hearing. Now there's this longer sort of raw footage that somebody else got. I don't know if they filmed it themselves, but they posted it on YouTube, and I got the transcript from the video, and we'll just read through it to get everything that she said. Okay, I'm not going to play that person's video though. All right, so here we go. Boom.
There was no mention of James Brenner being a suspect in the disappearance of Dylan Rounds. He appeared shackled, said very little except not guilty to the firearms violations, but prosecutors say this man is dangerous.
He was either squatting on Dylan's property or the property adjacent to Dylan's. And he had no...
Wait, who are you, Jay Hughes? Are you related to me? Yeah, I don't know when you say the Clobestol. I mean, it seems like it's getting better. It's just slowly. It's got a little bit of red on the outside of where the sort of main part is, but it's not spreading around or anything. It just kind of slowly heals, kind of itches a little bit.
No right to be there.
According to Dylan Rounds' mother, James Brenner often helped her son at his farm. In fact, she said Dylan's
so this is interesting stuff here.
Mother, James Brenner, often helped her son at his farm. In fact, she said Dylan's boots were found near where Brenner was staying on her son's property. He's now the main suspect in Dylan's disappearance, and there's a $100,000 reward offered for Dylan's whereabouts. But his mother says no one's come forward, and that speaks volumes.
If you offer somebody $100,000, because we've gotten nothing.
So the key may be to break Brenner down.
Correct.
He has the answers.
He has the answers.
Brenner appeared in federal court where he's facing firearms violations. He's a convicted felon with a violent past, according to federal prosecutors.
Oh, he has a lengthy history of violence. He likes to shoot at people. He has a history of shooting at people.
Maybe.
And
Gene,
despite the
maybe.
fact of being convicted of those offenses, he continues to carry firearms.
The prosecutor claimed he served time for attempted murder and failed to appear in Box Elder court for allegedly beating up a man last year. After hearing of his criminal past, Dylan's mother is even more convinced Brenner isn't just a suspect.
I think he snapped, especially hearing more of what I hear in court.
James Brenner was taken back into custody. His bail was denied. He's currently being housed in the Weber County Jail. He'll be back in court Monday in Box Elder County, where he faces more gun violations. For Missing in Utah, Marcus Ortiz, ABC4 News.
Yeah. So, hold on a second. All right, so somebody named Glorin Dellin, I don't know who that is, a YouTube video. This is the transcript from it. It says, what you make of his criminal history, I didn't really know. So I don't know where, by context, we'll be able to figure out who asked and who answered. So the reporter probably said, what do you make of his criminal history? And she said, I didn't really know it, to be honest, because it wasn't from around here. It wasn't from around here, and it's an extreme, violent, explosive history, and it's a long span. I mean, they tried to make his argument that there was some really bad charge back in 1986, and it was over 30 years ago, but then it just continues on every 5, 10, 15 years. He completes his sentence, and his gift for a little, and is, it's not a perfect transcript, so let's see. It's almost like he's free for a little bit, and then he's right back to some behavior that your first time seeing him, and if someone know what it like seeing him in there. I don't know what that means. Honestly, it was a little bit of weight lifted off my shoulders, just knowing, I knew, but the confirmation that, seeing him having to, he's not charged with anything with Dylan right now, but he's going to stay detained so we can continue working on that and finding out. Do you think he knows what happened to your son? And she said, I do. Knowing what you just learned today, and that your family, you guys know James, yeah? Not, let's see, not, it's hard to tell where it came from. Friends or nothing but acquaintances. So they're not friends or anything, but they're acquaintances. And did you ever meet him before with him? Is that what you're saying? What was he doing with the deal? Was he working just? And then she says, yeah, he just helping on and off, and he'd help Dylan hay out in Acre. He'd help him put together his pivot. Just day work is basically how you can explain it out in those small communities, Everybody kind of sticks together, and then somebody needs help. Everybody pulls together and helps. Did you recall any conversations with Dylan in terms of what James Brennan was like? Did he show any aggression like that? No, he just said he was crazy old man. He moved out in the desert. That's what you'd expect from any 17-year-old kid at the time when you find somebody living out in the middle of the desert, but nothing that would have ever raised any alarm. Now explain where his boots were found and where. James was squatting, so his boots were found. So James Brenner's house is what she's referring to, the trailer. James was squatting, so his boots were found right almost directly behind James's trailer, probably about 150 yards behind that dirt mound. That dirt mound was right behind where James' trailer was. Now, you were out there, right? You see, that's what's so weird. As I was picturing, remember the other night when I said, it kind of makes more sense now that the boots are behind the mound, because it doesn't make sense like for a rational, like true crime aficionado, right? But like you could see something happening there, and for some unknown reason, we don't know, the boots are off. and he throws them behind the mound to sort of hide them in something quick. Like he didn't have a means to be moving around too much, so he just walked over there and threw the boots to sort of put them away from him. It was right behind where James' trailer was. Now, you were out there, right? Yeah, we were. Justin and I were there. We looked at the boots behind the dirt pile when they were first found, and those boots, when you saw them, where they didn't look like they'd been there more than a couple days. If that's what you think was happened to Dylan, I think James did something to him. I think he snapped. So this is what she's saying. She's saying, I think James did something to Dylan. I think he snapped. Especially hearing more of what I hear in court and how that's kind of been how some of his charges have been. I think he snapped at Dylan, and he did something too. He spent a whole weekend before we got out there covering it up. You talk about just the mixed emotions that this probably brings, seeing something in shackles, like you said, but then also knowing that, it's kind of, you don't want him in shackles as a parent. You want to go find him yourself. So it's probably a good thing he's in shackles. It's mixed feeling until we know it's hard, but we need to know, and then we can move. Let's see, you move on maybe. Are you convinced? Are you telling? It's kind of hard to read this, but you get the gist of it. Are you convinced? Are they telling you that he's the guy? Are they telling us the same thing? They're telling us the same thing they're telling everybody else in their press releases. Is that he's a suspect and he's a main suspect, but I think all the other cards are holding close for reasons that we can all understand. I don't know. I do know something that you... Let's see. So she says, I don't know. I do know some that you, the media, doesn't know, but honestly, it is not a lot. But from the day one this began, that filing with Jim and something to do with it, and just everything got crazy. And then as we progressed, everything's led us right back to where Dylan parked that great truck. God, that's why you guys got to watch this channel, because that's what we've said the whole damn time. Okay, right back to where Dylan parked that great truck, the grain truck is what she said, and his boots were found. Right, something happened to him right there where he put the truck. That's what was always said, that when he put the truck and backed it in, that's where something went down, right in that area. All right, everything's taken us right back to where James, not any closer to actually knowing where Dylan is. That's what you're hearing, and I'll be honest with you, the director, probably 2 weeks I've been in contact with the FBI, but I get a daily update on an email, but I have not actually had a phone call. Or can you share their update tonight? When I don't expect my email on my phone, but it's all the updates been on is the, it's hard to, there's no punctuation or anything here. It's the search party, where they've searched and continue looking. So I don't have anything from them. Are they searching now? They have deputies out there still browsing around, but we really need a direction. Even they need a direction. We can't just stay out there in the middle of the desert. Do you think that's key here in breaking down or something like that? That's going to be our key. That's what we need, somebody to talk. And when you offer $100,000, but a poor community, nobody talks. And that means nobody really knows. And see, that means it even speaks more to it being somebody like James out in the middle of nowhere and nobody knows a damn thing. They're offering $100,000 in a poor community. That's what she's saying here. So it's a poor community. They're offering $100,000 and nobody's taking it. That's because nobody knows, right? The answer probably is that it was something out in the middle of nowhere, like at where he parked the sea truck. That's going to be our key. That's what we need, somebody to talk. And you know, when you offer $100,000, but a poor community and nobody talks, that means nobody really knows. That means it was a very tight-knit thing that was done. If you offer somebody $100,000 because we've got nothing, so the key maybe to break Renner down, correct? That's the question. He has the answers. He has the answers. Any last thoughts? I mean, we're almost 6 weeks until when he was last year. Yeah, no, I still just want everybody to stick with the facts. And we're getting some stuff moving forward. And, keep looking forward to getting the answers and being able to bring Dylan home. One question I just thought, a lot of these web sleuths, YouTubers and such, they were on a different trail. Yeah, Brenner. Really? They were on a different trail. Wow. How weird is that? God. Man. It's amazing. YouTube and such, they were on a different trail. Yeah, Brenner was like under the radar. I mean, what did I tell you? They're absolutely ridiculous. I mean, that is my honest opinion about them now. I use the internet to get the word out because we had to, and I never knew anything like this existed out there. Well, here's the thing. I'm sorry, Candace, that you had to deal with the lunatic portion of YouTube, okay? And so that's the problem when you have people that are trying to get help out there, and you've got some people that are actually trying to get the rational, factual information out there. And then you've got another segment that just really don't give a damn about that at all. They look for the most sensationalistic angle that they can possibly find, and they put it out there. And that's what their whole goal is to get as many subs and as many viewers as possible by putting out information that is very likely untrue but more sensationalistic and gets the excitement going. Okay? So that's the reality of YouTube. I use the internet to get the word out because we had to. I never knew anything like this existed out there. I really didn't. But they're all the wrong path. They're not listening to facts. They're not listening to the family. They're using it to get their... God, that sounds like I wrote this. This is crazy. Using it to get their hits and try to make their money off of YouTube, and it's absolutely disgusting. So what happens now? I mean, so as far as I know, yes, I don't mind people making money off of YouTube because, I mean, I actually make money. I donate more than I actually net, okay? So the thing is I don't begrudge people making money. What I begrudge is people making money on YouTube putting out false and sensationalistic information. I think it's incredibly disgusting when people are throwing money at people who are putting out false and misleading information. Like the people that have Jim on, the private investigator, over and over again, are not doing it because they're really looking for answers. Okay, I can just tell you that right now. All right, so I use. What happens now? I mean, so as far as I know, it's like I said there will be somebody standing over Brainerd. The heat will be on them. Brenner, I mean. The heat will be on them. They listed a homicide investigation in the affidavit, but I haven't been getting any information on Chase, so that that's something that's ongoing that I don't have information on. I do think there's any way Jim could, this is James, could have pulled this off by himself. I mean, maybe hurting Dylan, but not the rest of it. What kind of transportation did we have around here? Yeah, I was wondering. I thought it looked like the F-250 that I used to drive. I don't know. All right, okay. All right, thanks. Something like that. All right. So that was it. Anyways, God, man, didn't it sound like I wrote that part at the end there? That's unbelievable. It's crazy. But on this channel, if you guys would like to help out my channel, we're sending out the, we do a drawing at the end of the show for the notebooks. And then we also, you know, if you do PayPal, you get double the chances, like more spin opportunities. All right, but this is going to be my second show right now today. So we're, you know, now that I'm looking at it, we're way behind a normal day. All right, so I'd appreciate it if we could, you know, keep the week going. I go by every 5 days. I go 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. And kind of keep track of what I'm doing. All right. Anyways, there must be about 3 more lives going on right now about Dylan Rounds. I can tell. You know how I can tell that? Because we're doing a live stream, and we're not even getting the normal 300 people that we get. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy times. By the way, I donated $100 to the Living Abbey ballpark, and that's going to go to you know, buying a let's see, hold on a second. I'm just reading something. Hey, thanks, Lynette Burns. I thought the button was broken there for a minute. Already a half hour into the show. Let's see. I'm just trying to figure something out here. Oh yeah, yeah. So I'm sending in $100, you know, for Hoosier the Bruiser to have a brick. Okay. Now, I wasn't really friends with Hoosier the Bruiser. He didn't like me. I didn't really like him. I didn't hate him as a person, but you know, I thought, you know, he was always out there doing videos, and he was somebody that was, you know, big into the Delphi case, and you know, it'd be cool just to have him, you know, with a brick. There you go. So it's Incognito Society and me are doing it, and she's buying one, and I'm buying one for both, you know, the 2 individuals that died, Cat and Incognito and Hoosier the Bruiser. All right, so there you go. Now we've donated thousands to the ballpark. I'm just saying this is a second, sort of a different one for, just so that he can have a brick. All right. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so you know what? I actually think that is probably. Let me get that picture out again of the. Hold on. Yeah, I bet you anything that this is where he was staying right here. Either in this one or this one. Well, they said trailer, so it's likely this one that Brenner was staying in. And if you look at that, so if you were going to go down here, that's about this angle right here. That's like this. Okay, so let's just try to mimic what's going on here. Yeah, so it's pretty close to that. And here's the thing, that hill, that mound is right over here. And that's what made me think it was like this trailer. Because look at that one's right behind his trailer, but 150 yards away. Let me measure that. I bet you anything that's right on that number. Thanks, Lynette Burns. Okay, here we go. And 117, 120 yards there. The other one that was over here, it's about right there. That's 160 yards. So, and actually this thing here isn't there anymore. See, notice how there's this, it goes like this. That thing's been moved. So it was over here. It's been moved over closer to the right road, which is this one. I don't know if that's the same one, but it sure looks like it. It has the same two little things on the top and everything, just like this. So this thing is moved from here to there in this 2019 image. But the mound is right over here, and those were the boots were. And you could just kind of see a situation where somebody just brought him over there and tossed him. After, you know, to hide the fact that Dylan, I mean, I don't know, man, the truck's there. It's just a lot of people have just dumb thoughts sometimes, you know. That's all you can say about it. Thanks, Mike S., Eugenie, and Kimberly Sheets. Thank you very much. Goal. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, you guys. Let's see. Yeah, so don't you guys feel like they're really on the right track here? It's going to come down to Brenner. And, you know, here we got this Don guy that was just fired. You don't think that he's a little angry too? Like, yeah, man, you know, just, who knows, right? I'm just saying the whole situation with the guns, the 22 caliber story was crazy to me. I understand why Brenner would give the guns to him. But at the same time, the part about the 22 caliber is weird. However, why he wouldn't need to give. Here's the thing: is why did Brenner give the muzzle-loaded guns to Brenner when it's not illegal to have those? You know, he can have those. So it's interesting that he brought those over as well. It's almost like he didn't want to have any association with guns, right? But you could also say that he was bringing the 22 caliber because he couldn't have that, and so he just brought them all over at the same time. But then the story that Don told about the 22, he kept it in his. He didn't tell the FBI when they came over to the house on the 20th of June that he had the 22 caliber. He did tell him he had the 3 muzzleloader guns for Brenner for safekeeping because he didn't want police to take them from him, and it, you know, put him in danger, whatever the hell terminology you use there. So then he takes the next day he goes, okay, well, yeah, I did also have a 22 that he gave me, but I kept it because the original owner owed me money and I thought that I should get to keep it. I mean, what a ridiculous story. Again, I've said it a million times, especially when you have an investigation of a missing person and you have the FBI in your trailer and you're not going to tell them about a gun that one of the people get. That is just nuts. All right. So I actually wouldn't be surprised at all. And then it sounds like the Chase individual was hiding guns in somebody else's house. So was it like a thing of Chase and Brenner and Don, or just Chase and Brenner, or just Brenner? What do you guys, let's see. Let's see if I said, okay, I'm just going to say what? Brenner alone. Here, I'm gonna try to restore. I can do more options on the questions if I can get over. Let's see. There it is. And restore the chat. Ah, shoot. Lost it. All right, here we go. Options. Brenner alone. Brenner and Don. I think everybody thinks that Brenner, out of the all these people, is involved. So I'll put him in all the choices. And if you don't think he is, at this point, you're just somebody who always thought it was something else and you can't change your mind. Okay, there you go. You've got the choices that I just gave you. Multiple choice. See what you guys think there. You gotta fix the live chat overlay thing. There we go. A huge inconvenience at best and scary. Huh? What are you referring to, the Velvet Army? I want to know who Witness A is, though. Is that the... for you to get some more answers up there. I think when you start getting 3 people involved, it gets a little more hard to keep the secret. I think it's Brenner. I mean, what's interesting is Chase was hiding guns, and then there was even one that was sort of really hidden well in a secret, like a secret room in a child's bedroom somewhere. Yeah. Why is Canada's internet down? Man, you guys see how that was crazy? The Japanese prime minister being assassinated. The previous one. Man, that was nuts. Jesus. The guy made a gun. Probably watched some YouTube video out there and created a gun made out of like wood and all this crap and missed with the first shot and then killed him. Unbelievable. Unreal. All right, you guys all done voting? You got 10 more seconds. 10! 10, 9, 10, here, 10, 10, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. Hey, by the way, hit the like button, you guys. My God.
30, 25, 30. You want to put 30, sir. 25, ma'am, you're out. 25, 30, now 5, I'm 35.
All right. And we're going to end the poll right now. And did we get even 50 votes? 51. What a joke. Jesus. All right, so Brenner and Don, 29%. Brenner, Chase, and Don, 27. Brenner alone, 25. And Brenner and Chase, 17. All right. Okay, so it's Brenner and Don or Brenner and alone. Those two are, well, Brenner, Chase, and Don, but I'm going to throw that one out. So you've got 54% of the people think it's either Brenner or Brenner and Don. So that's, yep. That one actually makes the most sense. I would say it would be Brenner or Brenner and Don, because Don just got fired. He's the one that the guns were at the house. He's the one that came up with the crazy story about the 22. Apparently, though, that type of 22 doesn't have a serial number on it because it's old. But that doesn't change anything. The owner would still know it had no serial number and can't be traced. Chase was given a ride, walking out of the mountains, bloody and delirious. Okay, but where is he right now, Chase? Isn't he arrested? I don't know. Just there's a warrant out for him, for sure, right? Wow, no ATM or 911. Well, you guys are going to feel what it's like in Armageddon. It's going to be like The Walking Dead over there in Canada at this point. Well, good luck. And with your laws out there, you're going to have all the people, the criminals that have guns, are going to go around and start robbing all the other people who have nothing. And you'll see why it's good to have guns sometimes. Yeah, that's what I thought too, that Chase was in jail, yeah. Georgina Stoliker. So Don's, yeah, well, no, I'm not saying Don was arrested. I'm talking about Chase. Don, I don't know what the deal is with Don there. Man, if I was the FBI agent and I was told a story like that, I would just be, especially that you lied to. Look at this. Don is actually guilty, without a doubt, based on those documents, of lying to an FBI agent. Can anybody say that he didn't? No. He actually said on the 21st, well, I didn't tell you because I wanted the money from the gun because a guy that originally owned it owed me money. So that means he intentionally didn't tell the FBI agent about a gun that was given to him by Brenner. Me either, the Shack lady. I don't at all. I think Don and Brenner are probably the two biggest, you combine them together as the best chance of them being the ones involved. What's clever about that, Brent? Yeah, I think Don knows what happened, but I think he might actually be involved too. Because the story about the .22 caliber is too crazy, too nutty. It doesn't make any sense. Well, they did on the 7th, on 20, I think on the 7th, the 20th, and 21st, they were over at Don's place. On the 20th and 21st. They were at the 7th and an earlier date, like the 16th or 17th, over at Brenner's. Right. Yep, that's exactly right, Ellen. I totally agree with that one. Thank you, Bev Munoz. All right. And Don didn't call Grandma until the next day. When you could cover it, get some stuff cleared up, right? Yeah, I just read the transcript of it, NorCal Girl. I didn't want to play somebody else's video on here. I don't know where they got it, but... Now watch everybody. Look at the dog up there. Now watch Chloe here. Watch this, watch this, watch this. Look at that. Is that the most loving thing you've ever seen? And the thing is when Blue was the one that ruined it, he goes, hey, get out of here. I want to know how long she would have sat there hugging Blue had he not done that. That was just so weird. Yeah. I don't know if he had an ex-wife or not. Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest with you. You know, when somebody says to be honest with you, what they're saying is that they lie all the other times. Especially if they have an LY at the end. Kurt's story also isn't right. He claimed the reason why he didn't invite Dylan to the family weekend was that Dylan... I don't even know what that means. I'm not interested in Kurt, you know. Kurt is a peripheral person at this point to me. Hey, thank you, Quietly Frozen. The coolest name in YouTube history. By the way, I remember I was at the end of the last show and I said, do I sound like a used car salesman? And you went. That was pretty... Billy Giuliana said, yeah, that wasn't very good. Or after Zozo said, yes, and you too can buy a car today. I know I can do a better one than that. I can do better. I think Kurt knows something, but not involved. Yeah, I mean, he might know something being in the town, you know. They probably all know each other pretty well. But, you know, he was interesting at first because he's the one that called over to Candace with this crazy story. I'd really like to know what the reasoning behind that was. Hell, maybe his original story was slightly correct, you know? Yeah, I don't really care what Kurt and those... I don't really care what any of those people say. Nicholas, it's going to turn out that all of the sensationalism that everybody was talking about isn't going to be true. And whether or not Dylan Rounds, what his sexual orientation is, will have no bearing on the case whatsoever. It was all just drama stuff. I was wondering why he called. What does that mean? I think they all had some involvement. I think at least 3 of them do. Now, Wadsworth is interesting. So, you know, there's 4 people that I think have even a slight potential. It's those 4 right there. Wadsworth, Brenner, Don, and Chase. Okay? Those 4 people. However, if I was going to weight them, I would say that Chase, I would actually put it like this. I'd say something like Brenner, 50%, like 50 points out of 100. Like, well, 70 points out of 100 for Brenner. Don, 50. Chase, like 45. And then, I'm not making a thing where you add it up and it equals. I'm saying, like on a scale of 1 to 100 for each one. And then Wadsworth, like 10 out of 100. I think the FBI and they are on the right track on who is responsible for the death. Somebody pulled a trigger, right? I don't know. Who's Robert? Who the hell's that? I don't call people by their first name if I don't know them like that. I'm just doing it in this one because Chase, I don't, yeah, what is it, like Boonstra or something like that? Voon? It's so much easier to say Chase. And then Don's easy to say. I don't know who Robert Avils is. Yeah. You know why you think that, though, NorCal girls? Because you watch too much of the drama channels, I can tell you. You know, the gym and the really cool neato stuff. Just take a step back, read the search warrants, and you'll get closer to an answer. Let's see. What's clever, Brent? You keep saying, but it's clever. We don't know what that means. Yeah, that's what they said. Don and Brenner were family friends, but the mom didn't seem to say that. Maybe it was like the, yeah, the grandparent, right? Hey, Brent, you got about 10 more seconds to answer the question, and then and this is what the next sound you'll hear is this one. Yep. No idea what that is. All right. Hey, Brent, where's your answer, buddy? I'm going to need you to answer. You got about 5 more seconds, Brent. Nobody knows what that means. You've said it twice now. You got about 10 more seconds. I'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and good night. All right. No, it's... You know what we'll do is we'll put them on timeout first. Let me... All right, there we go. You are on timeout. And if you want to come back and try to interact like a normal human, that'd be great. Yeah. I think the story is a lot less complicated than everybody makes it. You know, it seems like it's, you know, Don and Brenner out there. Who knows if Dylan popped off to one of them. And this guy probably just snapped and shot him. Then Don and them helped cover it up. And then maybe, you know, I just don't think there's all this other stuff going on. Okay, I don't think there's this ton of, like this really deep, you know, you see these shows where people are coming up with these wild, fanciful stories with, I mean, the only thing missing are goblins and dragons. I mean, it is incredible. All right, and I think what the mom said, whether you like the mom or not, what the mom said in that interview is 100% correct. Yep, there you go. That's exactly right. I put him on timeout, Shogun. I'm the one that did it. I said I'll put him on timeout. By the way, I haven't seen you in a million years. What's going on? Yes, you know what I was thinking, by the way? I was thinking, is it possible that a cave troll actually lived in one of those caves? And I don't mean like a cave troll like a human. I mean an actual cave troll. And then after that, we were wondering if behind the mounds there, if we could... I'm telling you, if you just... And people go, yeah, ooh, 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 ooh. Have we ruled out alien abduction yet? How long that takes, and if it was just... Yeah, well, I'm just telling you, it's, you know, it's kind of the norm now, what's going on. I don't ever let my channel get into that realm. And I know that's frustrating to some people, but do you understand why it's necessary? Because look where it is now. So let me just tell you guys something. If it turns out it's Brenner and Don, let's say, and it's as simple as that. Let's just say it's just Brenner, for example. Think how ludicrous all the stories and all the stuff that you've been listening to for a month now. Think about how crazy that is and think, wow, Look how far off all these people were. Day after day, 7-hour shows with panels up the wazoo, people playing checkers, ironing. They're, in the background, and I mean, I'm just telling you guys, it's hilarious. Okay, it's hilarious. Yeah, well, you think you'd be good at interviewing them, the shack lady? Yeah. But here's the thing, they'll all be able to say, watch what, mark my words, this is what's going to happen. See, we haven't known. We just said on this channel, at least, when I say we, I'm the one that's talking and then we read the chat. But it's like something happened at the barn. That's what happened. Then then there was nothing to really be talking about. So then they come up with the search warrants, and here we go. It comes up with an individual living right next to this barn where the seed truck was parked. And it turns out it was somebody that would do work for him, who's a felon, who's actually tried to murder people before and had guns on him. Well, boom. That guy goes to the top of the list. Oh, and guess what? He hands the guns over to a guy named Don, a DH, let's say. And guess what? Dylan had fired the DH guy not long before. And then the DH guy comes up with a crazy, wild story about the .22 caliber rifle, and he didn't tell the FBI about, then told him about it, and then there was this wild backstory behind it. Okay? So then you have that. And so that's where the main focus should be from everybody. Everybody should have stopped on a dime and spun around. Now, is it possible it's still some other crazy, wild thing? I guess so, right? I mean, it isn't solved yet, so it's definitely possible, but I think right now they're in the correct direction. And that's all I can say. Now, if it turns out to be one of the crazy theories that these other guys are saying, good for them, good for them. But it would have been pure luck, because it's just, everything's been thrown at a wall. I mean, it's just, will this one stick, will this one stick, ding, 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 ding. It's like how psychics do it, right? They'll sit there and talk for hours and hours and hours. They'll throw out 150,000 different theories, write it down in different places, and then as soon as it comes in and they have one of their 100,000 theories that are as close, they run back over to where they kept the notes from and go, did you see that? Look at that, look at it. On January 2nd, I said this, and everyone goes, whoa, that's incredible, So, there you go. Oh, it was horrible. These guys all say, we just want to help you. No, I got to tell you what the shack lady just said. It was horrendously damaging to a investigation, what they were doing, okay? People, like, there's one YouTuber that's an attorney. He said, even if you don't like the guy, he brought attention. Look, there didn't need to be. Here's what's funny, everybody. The national attention had nothing to do with anything that they've come up with right now. It just made a case that people could talk about, and I'm talking about it right now. That's it. It made it bigger. We were talking about it before that guy got on, but there's nothing that all the attention did to bring anything at all to the case. The FBI was already there before anybody was even talking about this thing. Okay, and so it had nothing to do with the private investigator or any of these YouTube channels or anything. But it's become more interesting right now. That's for sure. We have some actual documents to look at, and the pieces of the puzzle are showing that Brenner and Don and Chase are all people that are mentioned in these documents. So those are 3 people mentioned in documents recently put out. So those are the ones that I think are most likely involved here. All right. So do you guys mind now if I switch over to the other case that we were talking about the other night? And if you're not familiar with it, it's pretty interesting. And if not, just run right over to the other Dylan rounds panel shows for 17 more hours. That's great. All right, where is it? You know what? I'm needing the. I was going to leave that off, but that wouldn't have worked good. Well, anyways. Oh, hold on. Oh, cool. Identifiers. Colleen just said they just solved a. She said we just solved a big case in New Hampshire. So maybe it'll be coming out soon. She was just in touch with the original detective. He didn't think he had any DNA, so for about the last 10 years, we talked off and on about what else could be done. Just recently, he found a lot of new evidence that produced more DNA. We solved the case just a few days before he retired. Boom! I guess we'll be waiting to see what the hell that one is. Boom! Awesome. Well, I can't wait for us to be on the funding side of one of the criminal cases. That'd be freaking amazing. Oh, well, that might be for us to do. Actually, sorry about that. Oh, that's interesting. So that's not the same thing. She's saying there's another case for us. She says, well, how about this? I'm going to get Colleen on here in the next few days. And she can come on and she can talk to us, and we can maybe try to figure out what direction to go in or what cases to pick. So, There's one case where a woman, I think this might be the one she's talking about, that went into a hotel, had a completely different name, used a fake name, took all the labels out of her clothing, and then killed herself. And I think that might be the one. That's somebody that they've never been able to identify in a hotel. I mean, that's incredible. I think that'd be a good one, you know, just at least for the family to get a name. I think that might be the one. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Let me ask her about what this one is. All right. Oh, yeah? Nah, I think that's a different one, Mike. There's a lot of suicides. It's a lady that's like glasses. She weighed like 200 something pounds. She jumped off of a ramp or something. Yeah, but what difference does it make, Jennifer, what the make and model of the truck are? Just curious. All right, so remember the other night we were talking regarding the Jade Winston case, really crazy case where, you know, she was at work, used her sister's car. It sounds like the story's a little different, though, because I have a narrative written by the mother way back then. This is 2007. So I've got that right now. Huh? I'm not sure what you're talking about. NorCal girl. Check out. Huh? Yeah, we don't do advertising for channels on here. Are you guys interested in moving on to this other case? Because I've got an actual full narrative written out. I just didn't have any more to say. On the Dylan Rounds case, it's just is what it is. You can sit there and talk for hours and hours and have people come. It's just. So here's what I was sent last night here. So let's go over this whole thing and the timing of everything. All right. Okay, and here, just so you know, this is Jade Winston right there, and that's Jerome Mitchell and Jade Winston together. They're brother sister. Maybe half, maybe? I don't know why they have different last names, but so that's them. And Jade Winston was killed in her, they thought maybe it was a suicide, but then it was ruled by a panel that it was an actual homicide. Welcome, Brownstone Jen. It was ruled that it was a homicide, and then, let's see, 1 or 2 days later, the brother, while going over to confront somebody about it, goes over somewhere else, and then, he's in the area. It's all in this document here. And then he ends up dying in a single-person car accident, or a single-driver car accident, with some random person that he apparently didn't even know that was in his car with him. Really strange stuff. The family all believe it was related. Thank you, Cindy Leon. Man, I should do, I should do is 4 2-hour shows every day. What do you think? Forget it, man. I don't even know if that's possible. I think if it was the only job that I did, I could do it. Thank you, Cindy Leon. All right, be safe out there. You're at work, huh? Jeez. What are you doing? All right, here we go, everybody. Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Mary Miller, and I was once a mother of 5 children, ages 22 to 13 years old. Sadly, in one weekend, my family diminished to 3 children, as 2 members were killed. I was once a mother of 5 children. To 3, as 2 children were killed within less than 32 hours apart. My daughter, Jade Winston, age 18, was killed on August 17, 2007, at 10:54 p.m. from a gunshot wound to the head. My son, Jerome Mitchell, age 22, passed away on August 19, 2007, due to a single car accident. We are a very small rural town in the southernmost part of Illinois called Carrier Mills. The population at the time of this letter, I think this letter seems to have been written in 2007-ish, right around then. Population 2,300, where these types of incidents are not considered a part of daily living experiences. My daughter was a senior in high school, a member of the volleyball, softball, dance team, and cheerleader. She was also a counselor for summer church camps for the youth, and had been for the past several summers. Jade was also a very hard worker. She was employed at both McDonald's and Arby's until school began in the fall. She chose to work only at Arby's, so she can continue with her activities in school and maintain her grades. So that's why she only worked the one job. Jade was an extraordinary young lady, and anyone you would ask would say the same. She was loving, sincere, and would give you the shirt off her back if you were in need of it. No one would ever think that a young lady like this would have an enemy. But sadly enough, we learned that someone, in fact, was Jade's enemy and brutally shot her in the temple of her head as she was in her home and killed her. The incident happened on August 17, 2007. Jade had, so now we get the real details here. Huh? Yeah, are you guys ready, Zozo? Everybody ready for this story here? Let's all focus on this one, all right? The incident happened on August 17th, 2007. Jade had volleyball practice after school and then had to work that night. So it happened on, so this is August 17th, 2007. Jade had volleyball practice after school, then had to work that night at Arby's. So she had volleyball practice, and then she went off to Arby's. Jade was dating a white male from a nearby 98% all-white town, El Dorado. Before going into work that evening, Jade received a phone call on her cell phone, verified by itemized cell phone record, from a female who claimed to have been... Listen how weird this is right here. She's saying that I told her off. I didn't tell you off. I just said, let's focus on this. Instead of talking about, random shit. Okay, this is more important than that. So listen to that. I mean, this is weird because this is detailed information. I wonder how anybody would know that this was... So it said, Jade got a phone call from a female who claimed to have been pregnant by Jade's boyfriend. Is that crazy or what? Oh, hold on. Just a second. Gotta add another one. Got the same clown over and over again. See, what's weird about this psycho impersonator is that we've been communicating and, actually getting along on Facebook. And I did absolutely nothing to him. We've just been communicating. And then out of nowhere, like a lot of mentally ill people, they just get some weird mental break and they just go on about something that's unrelated to anything. I've never had a negative, what do you call it? I don't know. We've just had normal conversations, and now he's back to the same old bullshit that he would do before for no reason. And I've tried to communicate with him to ask him what's going on, and he won't answer because he's a loser. Okay? This is what this person does. They never get better. They're mentally ill. They seem rational when you're talking to them. It's been interesting talking to him. He's got a cousin that had some kind of a parasite that's huge or something on him. We talked about that, all these different weird stuff. It was normal. But then out of nowhere, without me talking to him at all, he's right back to the same garbage that he was doing before. And unfortunately, at that time, I had all the FBI information. I was about to take it in there. But then we started to have normal conversations, so I said, I'll just give it a shot. So now I have to reopen up and get the folder out again, add 2 more accounts to it, get more information. Now I've got to go through with the process. I mean, the guy's just a really strange person. He goes by Norman the Winner on Facebook, and he just causes havoc for a lot of people for no reason. Like, it's just like he's not getting enough attention, and so he gets bored, and then he has to create attention for himself, okay? And then he made an account with these videos on it that are just totally bogus, things that I don't say. And then he goes on to other channels using the exact same account that looks like me and makes comments that I didn't say, but people think it was me. And that's okay because people will report that channel, but it's not my channel, okay? It's some weird, small, tiny little channel. I mean, the guy's absolutely nuts, right? Because, he actually seemed kind of cool. I mean, I actually didn't mind chatting with him. And then out of nowhere, boom, right back to the same shit for no reason at all. You know, maybe it's some perceived thing that he saw, that, the fact that I don't like the sensationalistic channels or something, and I say it, like somehow that's, I'm just gonna say whatever the hell I feel like saying. You know, it is what it is. If people don't like when I say something, then they don't like it and they unsubscribe and they take off. Who cares, right? Yeah. All right. You know, it would be cool though, Norman, if somehow you would go back to being normal again, if you ever were. I don't know if it was all just a game, but what we could do is we'll unblock the Norman the Winter account, and then you can come back on and just be part of the chat like everybody else. Wouldn't that be great, Norman? I think that'd be awesome. I know that's not your real name, but all right. So let's get back to this. The incident happened on August 17, 2007. Yeah, there we go. Got it. 2007, Jade had volleyball practice after school and then had to work that night at Arby's. Jade was dating a white male from a nearby 98% all-white town, El Dorado. I'm not really sure what the 90%, what difference does that make? Before going into work that evening, Jade received a phone call on her cell phone, verified by the cell phone records, and she got the call from a female who claimed to have been pregnant by Jade's boyfriend. So how did they know that she said that to her on that call? I don't know. Later that night, while Jade was working, she received several harassing phone calls from that same female and another, and then they came to her place of employment. I mean, that's such a huge portion of the story that we didn't really get the first time. I mean, it's been 15 years, so it's easy to see how somebody would leave something out. They were calling Arby's business phone, asking managers and co-workers what time Jade got off of work. Jade was upset, so her manager let her off work early. And so the thing is, the conversation we had the other night was an hour off, okay? Instead of 8:42, I mean, now it's 9:42 here, right? So let me see what we had before at the Walmart. So we had, Jade picks up Jana's car at 9:15. Okay, well, that's not the case. Because she clocked out at 9:42, Jade did. Jade did not have her car at this time. Huh? Why do you have to do hugs, Shogun? Jesus. Jade did not have her car at this time, as her big sister Jana, she resided with. So her big sister Jana, the one that came on our show, she's saying that they resided together. Yeah, they did. They were roommates. But this one says she had driven Jade's car to work. So I guess maybe it was Jana's car that wasn't working. I don't know, but had driven Jade's car to work. Somehow, when Jade got off work, she went to El Dorado. See, this is something that's strange here. So when Jade got off of work, somehow she went to El Dorado, which is approximately 7 miles from Harrisburg. I don't know what this is. It was hard to decipher. Let me put the El Dorado, Illinois, right? Yeah, so it's the other direction over here. Yeah. El Dorado. Okay, there you go. And then Jade did not have her car at this time, as her big sister Gina, who was resided with her along with another. So it says, somehow when Jade got off of work, she went to El Dorado, which is approximately 7 miles from Harrisburg. This is verified from a cell phone record indicating a call made from El Dorado's cell phone tower. So was that, maybe somebody was, how do you know that she was there? I mean, are you looking at the records correctly? maybe it was somebody from there that called her phone. I don't know. To this day, we have no idea how she got to El Dorado, since she had not picked up her car from her sister's place of work yet. Okay? So I think that might be just somebody reading the phone records incorrectly, because that doesn't even make any sense. She hadn't even picked up the sister's car, Jana's car, right? So Jade was going to go get Jana's car to drive home, right? She hadn't even picked it up yet. So how would her phone have made it all the way to El Dorado? So to me, it seems like somebody's just misreading the phone records, and that a call made to her phone pinged there, or maybe she made a phone call and it just randomly pinged on a tower that was farther away than it should have been. That's what it seems like to me. Because like you're out in this rural area, and maybe a call was made. Look, you're right here on the edge of town, and it actually pinged off of a cell tower in El Dorado. Doesn't that seem like a possibility? Like you're right here, you make a call, and it still pinged on a tower that was over here. And 7 miles is within a range. Yeah. Since she had not picked up her car from her sister's place of work. I was told that Jade went to El Dorado. See, then all of a sudden, there's actually an explanation on why she would have gone there. It says, I was told that Jade went to El Dorado to confront the girls who had been harassing her at her job. See, that's why it makes it seem like it was just a phone call, and Jade didn't actually go there. It was just the phone pinged off a tower because it connected to a tower over here, and that's where those girls were from. So that would make more sense. That it was just a tower picked it up, even though there might have been a closer tower. Yeah, this is from the mother, I think, Liz. Yeah. It's from Mary Miller. Okay. At approximately 10:35, let's see, hold on. Yeah, 7 miles from Harrisburg. She was going home to get ready. Okay, so right here, she left her sister's work around, and now I gotta scroll up. Where was that? That was right here. Somehow, when Jade got off of work, she went to El Dorado, which is approximately 7 miles. I was told that Jade went to El Dorado to confront the girls who had been harassing her at her job. So what somebody probably did was, well, she must have gone there to confront, because there was a ping there, but the ping might have just been an error. I'd like to see what the direction of the ping was. I bet it pings right back to, like, for example, right here. I bet you the ping is in a wedge going back this direction, because that's probably where the call was made, but it pinged off of a tower in El Dorado. That's what I would get from that. Approximately 10:10 p.m., Jade arrived back at Harrisburg. So that she's borrowed the car, apparently, and she makes it all the way back at 10:10. So you get off at 9:42, and then you drive 7 miles, 7 miles, 7 miles, right? So what is it? Let's just measure it. Yeah, 7. That's like, probably 7 driving. So 7. That looks like 7 again. So 7, 7, 7. So 21 miles altogether. It's going to take 20 minutes. But you were looking for somebody to confront. You get off at 9:42. It takes a minute to get to the car. You get to the 9:45, 20. I mean, man, that doesn't leave much time at all to do that drive. So at approximately 10 p.m., Jade arrived back at Harrisburg. That's why I think that ping is just an error. At the Harrisburg at Walmart. So at approximately 10:10, Jade arrived back at Harrisburg at Walmart to retrieve her car keys from her sister. Wait. So she got a ride with someone? I mean, see, this is what's just way too confusing here. Jade did not have her car at the time, as her big sister Gina, who she resided with along with another roommate, had driven Jade's car to work. And then it says somehow when Jade got off of work, she went to El Dorado, which is approximately 7 miles from Harrisburg. This is verified from a cell phone record indicating a call came from El Dorado cell phone tower. To this day, we have no idea how she got to El Dorado, since she had not picked up the car from her sister's place of work. That's just crazy. So somebody took her there then, because there is a big gap there, 9:42 to 10:10. All right. I was told that Jade went to El Dorado to confront the girl who had been harassing her at her job. So then at approximately 10:10, 28 minutes later, so it's 7 miles, maybe some minutes there, then 7 miles back, Jade arrived back at the Harrisburg Walmart. Jeez. Jade arrived back at the Harrisburg Walmart to retrieve her car keys from her sister, who was working and not scheduled to get off until 11 o'clock. Jana urged Jade to wait for her, so this is similar to yesterday, to get off, but Jade said she just wanted to go home and that she would be back to pick her up once she got off of work. So actually, so Jade said, yeah, I'll pick you up once you get off work, but I just want to go home now. She left her sister's work at around 10:15, so 5 minutes after getting the keys, to go home to Carrier Mills, where she resided, which is also 7 miles from Harrisburg. She was going home to get ready to go out with a girlfriend. So Jade was going to go home to go out to a girlfriend, not to watch the movies and everything. I mean, the movies come up here in a second, but originally she went home to go out with a girlfriend. She was going home to get ready to go out with a girlfriend and was going to meet her back at the Walmart when she picked up her big sister. See, that's weird then. So she was going to go meet the sister, get the sister back at the Walmart at around 11 and was going to meet that friend there. So did the friend maybe live in Harrisburg, so that was close? I don't know. She was going home to get ready to go out with a girlfriend and was going to meet her back at the Walmart when Jade was going to go back out to Walmart to pick up her sister around 11, she was going to meet this other friend. Okay, then at approximately 10:35 p.m., while Jade is at home, Jade's uncle went to her apartment to drop off a movie she had wanted to see. And the movie was High School Musical Part 2. And he explained she was already watching High School Musical Part 1 and was in her loungewear preparing to choreograph a routine for the youth dance team who had an upcoming event. At that time, their roommate, Jory, which we heard about, was there at the apartment getting ready to go out. Jade's plans, though, they fell through, so she wasn't going to now meet the friend at the Walmart after picking up Jana. Does this all make sense now a little bit? I mean, this part here all seems to make some sense, so let's see, how would that work? Jana leaves at 10:15 and drives home and Jade leaves the Walmart at 10:15 and tells Jana, I'll pick you up at 11. And she was going to also meet a friend there when she picked her up later. And then she drove home, probably got home at 10:25. And then the plans fell through with the friends, so she's sitting around watching High School Musical Part 1, probably even told the uncle, hey, do you have any more of those videos? Because I got to find some routines in some of these movies. So she watches High School Musical Part 1. She's going to watch High School Musical Part 2. And then it says, at that time, the roommate Jory was there at the apartment. So Jory, the uncle, and Jade were all there at the apartment together. And she was getting ready. Jory was getting ready to go out. Another roommate. So it was Jory, Jade, and Jana all lived together. Jade's plans fell through as she and her girlfriend were missing one another's calls on the cell phone. Cell phone records indicate times calls were made. So Jade decided she would just stay in for the night and work on the routine. She asked Jory to take her car to pick up her sister from work. So it's actually Jade's car. Last night it sounded like it was Jana's car and Jade's car wasn't working or something. I don't know. I think if you got 15 years, so this was written back then. And it says at 10:54 p.m., a 911 call was made from the neighbor stating he heard gunshots. So, I mean, look how crazy that is. At approximately 10:35, Jade's uncle came by. Yeah, and hands the movie over. And Jory's there. And then she takes off. And then 19 minutes later, at 10:54, so that means the window is a 20-minute window where she's shot. A call was made from a neighbor stating he heard gunshots next door. When Jade's sister got home from work at approximately 11:15 p.m., she found her apartment surrounded by police. So that means Jory went out there, picked her up. But I remember Jana saying last night that they went out and her and her friend went out and they did something. I don't know. This seems right here. Like all this makes sense, the timing here, other than that weird moment where she went, when Jade went to that other town. It's almost like she got another ride there and then came back. But it could have just been that during that time she was on a phone call that was pinging off of a tower in that town, and it made it look like she was there. And then she picked up her car from her sister at 10:15, drove home, told her sister she'd pick her up at 11 and meet a friend, but the plans with the friends fell through. And then Jory, who was home getting ready to go out, said, "Oh, I'll pick her up." And so she drove and picked Jana up. And then when they got back home at 11:15, the apartment was surrounded by police, and they were also inside her apartment, and she was not allowed, the mother was not allowed to go in her home. She called me on my cell phone. Oh, wait. So Jana and the other roommates weren't allowed to go in their home. She called me on my cell phone and asked me to come, the mother, to her apartment because she didn't know why the police were there. Approximately 15 minutes later, she was told her sister was in the apartment, and when she questioned what was going on, they would not tell her anything. She explained if they were searching her apartment, she wanted to see a search warrant, and that is when she was informed her sister was dead. When I arrived, I was not told anything. I ran to the house. The police pushed me away, and I was told I could not go in. I explained to them that was my child inside. They pushed me away again, throwing me to the ground, and I said I would go to jail. And they told her that she would go to jail. My daughter, Jana, lay across me to protect me from the police, and that is when she informed me that Jade was dead. I pleaded with the police to let me in, let me see if it was in fact my daughter, as there could have been a mistaken identity, and they said no. They knew for sure that it was Jade because of all the pictures in the room. And then the mother said there were no pictures of Jade in the room because she just recently moved in with her sister. Then a Carrier Mills police officer, whom I knew, said he knew Jade and it was in fact her. I still requested to see her and was repeatedly denied. They kept family and bystanders outside the house for 8 hours as my daughter's body was still inside. Officers came outside and asked me what hand my daughter was. I did not provide that information. Asked me what hand my daughter, I'm not sure. I did not provide that information. The entire time I was outside, officers were trying to convince me I did not need to see my daughter, and I asked other family members, preachers and bystanders, to try to convince me that I did not need to see her in the house. They said they would bring her outside in a body bag, unzip the part to reveal her face so I could see her. I replied, no, I want to see her where she is. At approximately 6 a.m., like 7 hours later, I was allowed through the door. I saw my daughter lying on her back with her hands extended to the side with legs apart. Pool of blood about a foot wide was a line to her mouth. I instantly thought the scene to be suspicious, as though my daughter's body had been moved. Well, I think it had been moved. I mean, that's exactly how you would put her if you were trying to see if you could do any life-saving measures, right? You would put her on her back, arms would be up the side, and you would try some stuff. I doubt that anybody would leave her exactly how she was if you're going over there and your first thing is, hey, let's see if she's alive, turn her over, let's see if we can get her heart going again, whatever, right? So it doesn't seem that weird to me that when she got in there, they might have, you'd hope they would have taken some pictures when they got in there. Why do we got all these people with clown pictures? I'm about ready to ban, and listen, by the way, I'm about ready to ban anybody with a clown photo as their emoji. It's just kind of weird, so I don't really have any faith. So we got a couple of those guys. We already got rid of Bozo a while ago. There's a few more. Yeah, she has the right. I think she should be able to see her daughter. But don't you think that this right here, where it says, the police told me, let's see. I saw my daughter lying on her back with her hands extended to the side with legs apart, pool of blood about a foot wide was a line to her mouth. I instantly thought the scene was to be suspicious, as though my daughter's body had been moved. I think it had been moved. Don't you guys think it had been moved? You guys? I mean, doesn't it even make sense to you that they would move her to try to provide life-saving, like you flip her over on her back, maybe try CPR, try different things? It doesn't, that part doesn't seem suspicious to me at all. You're not just going to walk in and leave her there. You might have taken quick photos right away to make sure that you got the picture of exactly how she was and then start doing stuff. Once my daughter's body was removed from the apartment at approximately 6:15 a.m., the yellow tape surrounding the crime scene was removed by officers. When family members questioned why they were removing the tape, they were told by officers this is an open and closed case, indicating that my daughter had committed suicide. The following evening, Saturday, August 18, 2007, my son Jerome Mitchell made a phone call to one of the females that had harassed his now deceased sister. Wow, so this is one of those girls that called her while she was at work. So Jerome Mitchell made a phone call to one of the females that had harassed his now deceased sister and told her she needed to tell him who did this to his sister. Later that evening, he went to a house where a male by the name of Jason Curtis was. Jason was an ex-boyfriend of Jory's. So Jory's is one of the roommates, and that's an ex-boyfriend. Jade's roommate. He was very controlling of Jory and also made a MySpace page calling Jory derogatory names, including but not limited to racial epithet, including the N-word. This can be verified by family members of Jory. Jason was implicated to Jade's... Now, see, these are like police never implicated him. I mean, they are implicated. So Jason was implicated to Jade's death, and his uncle lives only a few houses down. So this Jason person, in the internal circles, people think maybe he has something to do with the death. And then this Jason guy's uncle lives just a few houses down from where Jade lives. When Jerome confronted Jason, so Jerome is the brother of Jade, who's now deceased, and he confronted Jason, the ex-boyfriend of Jory. There was a conflict. This is supported by a police interview report included. So I want to see these reports. It was told that Jerome informed Jason he was going to get his big cousin and that he would be back. So Jerome said, hey, listen, I'm going to go get my big cousin. We're going to come back, and you better tell us the truth, that kind of thing. On the way to his cousin's house in Harrisburg, Jerome picked up a male by the name of Christopher Pennington. To this day, we don't know how he came to pick up or even be acquainted with Pennington. I mean, that's what's crazy. You know, he's heading over to a house. Apparently, it's just right over here. Where the hell is that? Okay. Yeah, so I don't know where these other names are that were mentioned last night, but the accident was right here. And if you go back on Google Earth in time, let's see. Man, look at it right there. It was just starting to be built. Let's see how far back the earliest. Okay, right there. So there you go. See, these roads aren't in there yet. So this is what it looked like back then. This is actually, believe it or not, August 2007, the same month where she was, you know, when she was killed and he died. And apparently he was at a house right down this road right here. You know, maybe down here somewhere. And what they said, though, I saw earlier was that it was 100 yards down. So I actually think it was right here. Okay, so I'm going to move this over and put a pin right there. And by the way, let me see something. Okay, yeah, so those are still there. All right. Yeah, what was the name of the guy? Was it Jason was implicated? So Jason, I don't see Jason. I wonder if that. Yeah, I don't know who these other names are anymore. I have to go back and watch the show from last night. But anyways, Christopher Pennington was in the car with Jerome, and apparently, if you can see right here, this road, he was supposed to go this way, but he went like this. And then the car like flipped over a whole bunch of times. It was told that Jerome had informed Jason he was going to get his big cousin and then he would be back. On the way to his cousin's house in Harrisburg, Jerome picked up a male by the name of Christopher Pennington. To this day, we don't know how he came to pick up or even be acquainted with Pennington. Jerome made it to his cousin's house in Harrisburg, knocked on the door, and no one answered. So he was going to go pick up the cousin in Harrisburg. Knocked on the door and no one answered. So he was going to pick up the big cousin. It was later revealed that the girlfriend of the cousin, so the cousin that Jerome was supposed to pick up, because right up here it said, Jerome informed Jason he was going to his big cousin. Right? So then right down here, he's heading over to the big cousin's house in Harrisburg so that he could bring that cousin apparently back to Jason to lean on him and get him to tell him what happened to his sister. So Jerome made it to his cousin's house in Harrisburg, knocked on the door, and no one answered. It was later revealed that the girlfriend of the cousin, so the girlfriend of the big cousin, came to the door as Jerome was pulling away. Right, so I guess apparently like the cousin wasn't there maybe, and then Jerome was leaving, and he was pulling away from the house, and she could not get his attention to stop him. Immediately following Jerome's departure from the house, a dark green car pulled into the cousin's driveway. This part here is really suspicious, if this is true. Immediately following Jerome's departure from the house, a dark green car pulled into the cousin's driveway, and someone knocked one time. So they went up to the door, knocked one time, and then ran and jumped back into the vehicle, almost as if they had spotted Jerome's car driving away. And they sped off, right? So immediately following Jerome's departure, boom, the green car pulls in, one knock at the door. Oh, there he is. And then they jump in their car into the vehicle and they sped off. The girlfriend did not answer the door, but looked out the window because she did not know the person or the vehicle, and it was approximately 1:30 a.m. Immediately after they departed, the girlfriend heard a loud noise. So immediately after this random green car that knocked on the door, She heard a loud noise just moments later. She went to see what it was and saw that Jerome's car had been in an accident. I mean, if you guys were just following along to exactly what I'm saying, it would make more sense to you. Every time you type in something, you're not hearing the part about what I'm just reading right here. So it says, Jerome goes over to big cousin's house. I don't know if Jerome's there or not, but apparently just as he's leaving, Jerome's girlfriend tries to get their attention, but they're driving off, and then right at that moment, a green car pulls up, knocks once, probably turned their head and said, "Oh my God, there he is." Well, you shouldn't be lost, though, Allie, because it's really simple. It's just like you gotta, I know this isn't like the instant entertainment channel where it's like, you can turn your head, oh, we'll catch that next really instant entertainment deal. It's like you gotta be kind of focused a little bit. So, yeah, so anyways, Jerome goes over to get the big cousin to lean on Jason because he's upset about what happened to his sister being murdered. And he's trying to investigate himself. He goes over to the big cousin's house, and the big cousin doesn't... No, you aren't trying, Allie. Come on. I know you can do it. And then... he goes over to the big cousin's house. Either he, maybe he went in and talked. I don't know. But apparently right as they were leaving, the girlfriend... tried to get their attention, tried to get Jerome's attention, along with this Pennington guy that nobody seems to know. And they are driving away, and just as they're pulling away, a green car pulls up. One of the drivers gets out, knocks on the door. They get right back in the car, and they head off really quick. Then the girlfriend didn't answer the door. She looked out and saw this accident happen. So, a dark green car pulled into the cousin's driveway, and someone knocked one time and then ran and jumped back in the vehicle and sped off. The girlfriend did not answer the door but looked out the window because she did not know the person or the vehicle, and it was approximately 1:30 a.m. Immediately after they departed, the girlfriend heard a loud noise. She went to see what it was and saw that Jerome's car had been in an accident. The scene was only within approximately 100 yards from her house. So that's the crazy part. It must have been right here. I mean, one of these homes right here. And the car speeds off, and she looks down there and sees this wreck. So what's interesting, though, is it seems like Jerome should have been able to drive a hell of a lot farther away than somebody pulling up a green car, getting out, knocking, getting back in their car, and coming over here. It seems like Jerome would have been, a quarter mile away or so by the time that could happen. I wonder if it was that one right there. It's right on the edge. So let's just measure that. 100 yards, right? That's 245. So maybe it was, who knows? But, that might have just been a guess. Although there's another house right there, right? No, that's the one. No, that's the one I was measuring from. Right here. Yeah, 235. Yeah, well, I guess you... All right. So if you guys are lost, I'll just explain it to you again. It's actually kind of a simple story, We went over the whole thing the other night. We had guests on and everything. Let me try it again. So earlier in the evening, Jade, okay, that's the victim here. She has a sister named Jana. They're roommates, and they have another roommate named Jory. So it's Jory, Jana, and Jade. Jade and Jana are sisters. Jory is just a friend. Does that make sense to everybody? That makes sense? I mean, give me some yeses or something. That's all I need. Because it'd be cool if everybody understood the basic stuff. All right, cool. All right, great. So that night, it sounds like reading this document that Jade, the victim, was at volleyball practice or earlier or something like that. Regardless, that part doesn't even really matter. She was at Arby's working, and while she was at Arby's, a couple of girls were bugging her. One of the girls said that she was actually pregnant with one of Jade's, or with Jade's boyfriend, like a child with Jade's boyfriend, right? Then they kept harassing her at work, and then apparently between what was it, 10, she got off work at 9:43 or something like that, and then 9:43 to 10:15, there appears to be some ping information on a cell tower from her phone in El Dorado right here. I think it's possible that she was still calling and she was talking to those same girls. So I think maybe her phone just pinged off that tower, making it look like she traveled there, but in fact she was still here. And then at about 10:15, she picked up her sister's car. It was actually her car, but her sister drove it that day. Because their shifts are different. So originally she drove Jade to work and then later drove herself, but it was actually Jade's car. And then after, when Jade at 10:15 picked up the car from Jana, got the keys, and then drove home. So she drove all the way home, which is right here. Let's see, where is it? Right here in this house, right there. So she drove home right here. And she probably got home at 10:25 or so, right? So Jade gets home at 10:25. Jana's still at work at the Costco. Was it Costco or what the hell was that thing? My brain isn't remembering that. Walmart. Okay, it was a Walmart. Yeah. So Jana's still at the Walmart. Jade is now home, probably 10:25. And she was supposed to actually meet up with a friend back out at the Walmart later. And that would also, at the same time, she'd go pick up her sister. She was going to drive back over there at 11 and go out with a friend. But the plans with the friends fell through. So she then kind of changed clothes and was sort of lounging around and watching High School Musical Part 1. The uncle shows up, gives her Part 2 because she needs to choreograph for a performance coming up. So she has ideas from the show. Then Jory, the roommate, was there. And she's going to go out with friends. So she goes, I'll go pick up your sister. So she takes off and picks up the sister because now Jade isn't going to be doing anything. So she just wants to stay at home and watch the shows. And so that was at like 10:35. Let me go find the document here. Let's see, 10:10. Yeah, so no, it was 10. Yeah. At approximately 10:35, Jade's uncle went to her apartment to drop off a movie she had wanted to see, High School Musical 2. And he explained she was watching High School Musical 1 and was in her loungewear preparing to choreograph a routine for the youth dance team who had an upcoming event. At that time, their roommate Jory was there at the apartment getting ready to go out. Jade's plans fell through. So her plans with her friend fell through. And she and her girlfriend were missing one another's calls, and that's why their plans fell through. And so Jade decided she would just stay in for the night and work on the routine. She asked Jory to take her car to go pick up her sister from work. So she said, hey, Jory, would you go pick up? So that's interesting. I mean, Jory may have supposed to have been there, right? Whoever came over to the house. Jory was supposed to be there, but it wasn't. It was merely the fact that Jade said, hey, Jory, would you go pick up my sister now? I'm staying home. I'm going to watch these movies to get the choreograph. So she took off, and then they get back at the house at and then the shooting happened at 10:54. So that was only 19 minutes after Jory left. A call came into 911. So the shooting was probably more like even like 10:53, you know. So that soon after Jory left, there was a gunshot. All right, then, then we went through the whole thing about how, Jana came home. They weren't allowed into the house, and they called their mother. She wasn't allowed in, and then the mother finally was able to go in, but her body had been moved. I think it was to perform life-saving, attempts. And then the son confronted Jory, the roommate who went off to go pick up Jana, her ex-boyfriend, who they thought maybe had something to do with it. Which is interesting because maybe, he mistook. I don't know how that would happen, but I don't know, what they look like or anything like that. But, Jory and him are exes, right? So anyways, the brother of Jana and Jade, his name is Jerome. I almost think I need a chart for this thing. His name is Jerome, and he was, looking around trying to get answers. And Jason, the ex-boyfriend of Jory, was one of the people he wanted to talk to, and he wasn't giving him answers, so he says, I'm going to go get my big cousin. So then Jerome somehow ended up picking up this guy named Pennington, who nobody knows who he is, okay? Nobody has a clue who this guy is. And so he had Pennington in his car, apparently, when he drove over here to get his big cousin. But apparently his big cousin wasn't home. But the big cousin's girlfriend was home. So Jerome gets him back into his car to take off. Just at that same moment, a green car pulls up. They knock once and then took off really quick because they probably saw Jerome's car, and they they followed it. The girlfriend ran out of the house, saw a wreck, and there was a big wreck right over here. Apparently, Jerome's car went straight instead of turning like this, and there was a big crash over here. All right, how's it going now, everybody? Is that making sense? I really want to know. Allie? Come on, Allie. How's it going now? Okay. I hope that makes more sense now. But I need what I need is we need to put together a flow chart. Even if there's not faces, you just put it up there. Allie probably already left. Hey, Bobby Ann, that still looks a little bit like a clown. Okay. But doesn't it make more sense right now, though, Allie? Come on. Jeez. You didn't used to be Allie Cake, were you? I haven't seen that person in a long time. The girlfriend did not answer the door, but looked out the window because she did not know the person or the vehicle, and it was approximately 1:30 a.m. Immediately after they departed, the girlfriend heard a loud noise. She went to see what it was and saw that Jerome's car had been in an accident. The scene was only within approximately 100 yards from her house. As she walked to the scene, she noticed Jerome's car had paint from another vehicle on it. The police later questioned her and asked if she thought it was paint she saw, and she stated yes, it was. The police also asked if she knew the vehicle that was following Jerome that night. Her response was no, but she could identify the male and female. I mean, that's pretty funny right there. I think that's what they meant. Okay. Yeah. I was told that Jerome was killed from a single accident and that he was ejected from the car. I mean, look how crazy this is right here. He was ejected from the car through the sunroof, and the trauma to his head killed him instantly. When I viewed his body at the hospital, he had no visible signs of injury. I thoroughly overlooked my son's body because he lay there looking healthy, uninjured, as if he were asleep. His teeth were intact. There were no scrapes, cuts, or visible injuries to the top of his head. Nothing. The only sign of any injury was a scratch approximately 1/2 inch under his left eye. The doctor even told us that my son had no broken bones. Jerome's death was concluded as blunt trauma to the head. The police have given several different stories surrounding Jerome's accident. We still do not have an official accident report, as we have requested on several different occasions. The passenger of the car, this Pennington guy, he survived the accident and is currently undergoing outpatient rehabilitation and also has been diagnosed with PTSD. As a family member has spoken with his girlfriend, so a family member spoken to Pennington's girlfriend, she explained he does not remember anything prior to the accident, only recalling waking up in the hospital. The vehicle was held in police custody under investigation for 5 days, and our family was notified the evening before the funeral services, which were August 23rd, 2007 at 10 a.m., that we had to meet at 8 a.m. to get Jerome's belongings out of the vehicle as it was being towed away. So from the crime scene, his vehicle is being towed away. As we have tried to seek out answers and have our concerns addressed, our family has had the added stress of dealing with 2 different departments. Jade's incident is under county jurisdiction and Jerome's is under city jurisdiction. However, we truly believe both deaths are related. These cases are not spoken about, and it seems to have been had little to no progress made as there are no suspects. We recently obtained an out-of-the-area attorney to represent our family. However, he has even run into brick walls with dealing with our good old boys network in southern Illinois. He has requested information from the state's attorney and was denied. He has requested accident report and has been denied, and he also feels that there is a major cover-up being conducted. As my family continues to question the progress of the investigation and has met several times following the incident with representatives from Sheriff Department, Harrisburg Police Department, Illinois State Police, and crime scene investigators, we were informed there were no fingerprints dusting conducted the night of the crime, even though that I was told the night of the incident. So they were told that they were doing fingerprints, but never was. A month later, a projectory device was taken into the apartment to determine the angle in which the bullet traveled. At that time, there was blood spatter found in the kitchen of the apartment, a room away from where Jade's body was found. Oh boy, that's crazy right there. As the information I have forwarded you indicates, Jade's death was under investigation for 6 months before evidence retrieved from the crime scene had returned from the lab and officials were able to conduct a coroner's inquest. It is my opinion that of some officials in which I have personally spoken with that the crime scene investigation was not properly handled from the beginning, leaving evidence behind and now having limited evidence to work with. After deliberating for only 24 minutes, based on the evidence and testimony of professionals, the jury determined the manner of Jade's death to be ruled a homicide, which means that another person caused her death, by a subject unknown, something we all knew all along. I am now at the mercy of others to help find out what happened to my 2 children on their unforgettable weekend. As we hear rumors in the community, we inform the police and they explain, they investigate them. When we suggested they retrieve the surveillance video of the Walmart parking lot to see how Jade got there and if she was followed from picking up her car from her sister's work, well, see, that's interesting. That's something I was wondering about, since the friends were wanting to know what time she got off of work. I was wondering if they followed her. But what did they do, just sit outside? Because remember they said that, I mean, that's an interesting part of the story, because apparently they said that one of the girls said that Jade's boyfriend is actually the father of a baby that she's pregnant with. You know, what I'm saying is the girls that called Jade at work One of them told her that Jade's boyfriend must have, had sex with her and she's pregnant by him. And then they were calling around trying to figure out what time she got off work, everything like that. Yeah. As we hear rumors in the community, we inform the police that they explain they investigate them. When we suggested they retrieve the surveillance video of the Walmart parking lot to see how Jade got there and if she was followed from picking up her car from her sister's work, they explained they contacted Walmart and had them to hold the video. Unfortunately, the person responsible for viewing the tape was on vacation, and once he returned, we were informed the video had unintentionally been recorded over. Oh, come on. Who the hell? How does that even happen? It just, God, it drives me. So I don't believe those things when people say that. So it seems now that the inquest found my daughter's death a homicide. And by the way, you guys, on this channel we try to raise funds every single night to help support the channel so I can keep doing what I'm doing, and also the charities during the month at the end of the month. Tonight we're having one of those nights where we're back to the wild, huge voids of time. Right? It creates the energy to keep going, I am now sending my story to anyone who will take the time to listen. We need support from outsiders to give authorities a little push on solving this matter. My children were well known and well liked by those who did know them. Their deaths have impacted a lot of. There must have been more after that. I didn't get that document though. I don't think. Yeah, I just got 7 pages. So it seems now that the inquest found my daughter's death a homicide. We pray that law enforcement will be more diligent. So this is from way back then, because this is right around the time that they ruled it a homicide. Wasn't this in like February of 2008? Yeah, there you go, right there. So this is really only 6 months after the murder that it was ruled a homicide, right there. Yeah, I want to get the police reports. Oh, okay, hold on. Oh, I see. She was talking about 2 different things, Colleen was. Man, doing these 2 shows, we're going to be at, we're already over 4 hours right now for the day. I guess I won't be doing that again. Let's see, what are we at? So was the other girl actually, we don't know if she was pregnant or not. I don't know anything about the, and there's a lot of stuff that we don't know right now. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we don't know. We don't even know who those other people are. Well, thanks to Velvet Army, but yeah. Hey, you don't have to keep typing in. It doesn't matter what medium. It's just one of those nights, Beholder. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Yeah, well, I mean, the next thing I'm just going to have to keep communicating with them to see if they want to put out the, the police reports. I guess they're looking for the police reports. And once we get those, we can really go over those, see what's in them. I guess it's kind of hard though when if you're thinking that they're manipulating things, is like, how do you trust those things? There you go. Look at that. Bobby Ann has a non-clown image. It's awesome. And thanks, the Velvet Army. Oh, man, my stomach just went. Oh. All right. Well, you know, I think I'm just going to hold off on the other stuff then till tomorrow, because I'm going to go look into some of these, like the Doe Network and so forth. All right. I don't know. I guess we don't know the answer to that one. Too blessed to be stressed. Thanks, Dan Carr. Well, they were thinking that it was Jason, the boyfriend of Jory, ex-boyfriend of Jory. No thanks. Yeah. I'm just going to make it a 4-hour day. I don't know. I don't know why, Zozo. That's just, they said that the word was that it was. So then he went to go get his big cousin. You got to go back and listen to it. We went over it like pretty thoroughly twice. They probably wanted to check with the cops and make sure they think it's okay to put it out there. We know it will be okay, but I don't think that's what it was about, TTJO. It's been 15 years. Huh? They're blaming someone? Yeah, we don't know why the word was that Jason may be implicated. We don't know. The answer to that's not in there. All it is that he's the ex-boyfriend of Jory, and he was like a controlling or something type of Jory, and then Jory should have actually been there, but was told to was asked if she could go pick up Jana because Jade's plans had fallen through, and now she just wants to sit at home and watch the High School Musicals to come up with dance routines. Okay, so Jory should have been there, and actually Jade shouldn't have been there. She should have came home and, you know, got ready basically and went off to go pick up her sister at 11 and go meet the friend. So it's kind of weird how that got reversed, and then somehow in that little tiny 19-minute time frame, she got shot. Because at 10:35 the uncle was there, and then at 10:54 a phone call comes in saying there's been a gunshot, and at that moment the uncle and Jory are not there anymore because the uncle just came to drop off the tape, and Jory went to go pick up Jana at the Walmart. Crazy, right? They nobody did. They came home and saw them there when they got home. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right, everybody. So thank you to, let's see, what do we got? Eugenie, Chihuahua Dawson, Lynette Burns, Mike S., Eugenie, Kimberly Sheets, Bev Munoz, Quietly Frozen. Now, if you want to keep watching a show, go back and watch the one from earlier in the day. It was pretty interesting. Brownstone Jen, Quietly Frozen was a cat eye. So Brownstone Jen became a channel member. Cindy Leon, the Velvet Army, and Dan Carr. All right. So thank you guys all for supporting the channel. today. I appreciate it. If you hit that like button, make sure to comment. You know, I always notice, I know my shows are so absolutely thoroughly informative that you have absolutely nothing to say when they're done. But, you know, to help the algorithm, you know, if you could go over there and make comments after the show, that'd be great. You know, who knows? Maybe that'll entice somebody that knows something to say something. All right? Because there's some shows we do. I know that what the difference is when people put videos out, people comment because there's nothing to. They didn't get the comment when the show was going on. You see what I'm saying? So when the show's over during a live stream, everybody's already commented 1,000 times during the show, so they don't feel like, oh, I got something else I want to say. But when you put out a video, nobody had said anything when it was live, so they there's a lot more comments on actual videos. I even noticed that on my own when I just put out a video that's like 15 minutes long. You get like 90, 60 to 100 comments or whatever, and that's mainly because nobody was able to comment during the live stream. Anyways, thank you. And then thank you to Just a Friend. Thank you. All right, I'm still going to draw for a notebook, but barely made it into that, sadly. Let's see. Oh, Sleuth and Sandals, put you in there too. All right. Oops. Well, that's going to be the spin. It doesn't matter if you shuffle or not. It's the same odds. Look at that. Quietly Frozen for the notebook. You still need a notebook, Quietly Frozen? Where is Quietly Frozen? I accidentally hit the spin button, so I don't know if she's still here, but so mean. She's off ripping. I'm just seeing if she's still here or not. I don't know. She can let me know later. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, thank you all for being here tonight. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna spin it again. Hold on, let me go back. Just in case. Alright, I'm gonna spin one more time for a notebook. Here we go. Oh, look at that. I guess I sorted it instead of shuffled it, but there you go. Bev Munoz. You get a notebook. And if Quietly Frozen says she wants one, then she gets one too, but there you go. On the Love Boat. Yes, you too can join the Love Boat with Captain Steubing, the Doc, Julie, Gopher, and Isaac. then after that, don't forget to join Fantasy Island. Don't you remember that? It was like 10 and 11. 10 o'clock was Love Boat, and 11 was Fantasy Island. The plane, the plane. Yeah. On, I think it was Saturday nights too, right? Yeah. Look at the plane. Yep. All right. Anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as by the way, this is the notebook right here. That's my Part 107 FAA shit that I'm doing. But, there you go. So that's the notebook. You know, it's not too bad for what it is. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher. If you try and play me like an old projector, crime sector is my nectar. Professor Greg is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a fun protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm here that I spread with a vector on his vector. With all respect, just remember I've a temple fucking checker. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so
Well, I hope we get some answers for Jade Winston, but we're gonna have to get some. We gotta get the police reports, and then we'll, then you start bugging people and trying to get some answers. All right, there you go. So definitely need some answers here. Looks like they're making really good progress in the Dylan Rounds case. I think it's going to come down to, it's going to be related, I think, almost certainly to the Brenner, and then very likely have Dawn in there, and then maybe even Chase. All right, so there you go. But I think things are looking good there. But we got to get some. This case definitely somebody screwed this one over. It was ruled a homicide in 24 minutes by a grand jury, okay, or a coroner's inquest, whatever the hell that was. But it's just like, you guys screwed up. So now do investigations another way. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, be safe out there.